Hey, so on today's deep dive extra bite, I wanted to dive into why I wrote my cookbook. So there's a couple different reasons. And I mean, one is that it's always been a childhood dream of mine to write a book. And I actually want to write other books. So if you know me in real life, then you might know that I really grew up writing a lot of poetry. And so I've written songs and raps and other things. I really love to write. And one of the things I always wanted to do was write a children's book or a teenage book about something I don't want to say because then somebody might steal it and do it before I do. But I have this idea of a series that I want to write. And that's always been on my mind. But I always wanted to be an author of some kind. And it's really weird because I never thought that I would become an author with a cookbook, even though I cooked. But in my mind, it was just like for a long time, I never wrote down my recipes. So COVID happened, 2020. We were all there, most of us. And when COVID happened, I pivoted my personal chef business because I would go into your home and cook for you, but then couldn't go into your home anymore. So that was pretty much out of the window. So what I did was I started working with my friend Chef Kathleen out of New York, and we started doing online classes. But then I also took my friend TJ's advice and started my podcast, which was Cooking Your Way Through Life. So I was just like, what makes my podcast different? Like, what can I say that other thousand of men online are not saying? And what would make it different? And so I just wanted to be like, I'm cooking my way through life. I go through things, but I cook. So here's a recipe and here's what's happening. And that's pretty much how I live my life anyway. So it's really a direct mirror reflection of my life because I talk about topics that I'm going through, from therapy to breakups to engagements to all kind of things. And so what happened was I kept doing a recipe for each episode. And that's how I structure my podcast. I do a recipe in the episode, but it's really hard to tell you the quantities and timings and everything in an episode, especially if you're listening to my podcast in a car and everything. And I feel like it's distracting. So what I did was I do like the idea of the episode or the idea of the recipe in the episode, and I wanted to put it somewhere. And that's where Cooking Right Through Life came to be. So this cookbook is derived of about 90%, I would say 85% of Cooking Way Through Life recipes season 1 through 4. And then the rest of it are recipes that I've just done throughout my life, kind of like family recipes that I wanted to interpret in a different way. And the other thing about this cookbook is that it is set up to be like my grandmother's cookbook, Grandma Laladale, where it's blank pages and spaces for you to write what you want. My cookbook is a guide for you. So if you like one of the recipes, but you feel like, oh, it'd be so much better if you add a little cumin here. Oh, this cake would be so much better with blah, blah. That's why I did it with the extra pages so that you can decide what you like and what you don't like. So as long as you're in the kitchen and cooking and having a good time, then my job is done. So you can get the cookbook on Amazon.com as well as BarnesNoble.com and everywhere that you can get Amazon or Barnes Noble. So hope you have a good day.
Cooking your way through life. Cooking.
Watching today's episode, I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something. You know what to do next. Please hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons below and have a great day.